Good afternoon, agents. I have to make an apology to you all. I did a live build of this Nomad, and unfortunately, the music developers for this game are so goddamn petty that they continually copyright and block my videos, and so the audio was removed from my last stream because I was in the base of operations or the terminal and the music's playing in the background, if you can believe that bullshit. So now I have to make a build video down in the firing range where there's no music playing. So I made this Nomad video and Nomad build just honestly just for something new to try. I wanted to see how tanky I could be while still doing some damage. It's purely as a support role, but surprisingly, it does a lot better than I thought it would. It does a lot more damage against players and NPCs than I ever expected, even though my DPS is kind of low. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to go through what I've put on here. This is no way optimized or the best build. It's just what I've got right now. I did have higher firearms originally, but I re-rolled the mask for higher stamina just to see, and it's surprisingly better. So let's get into it real quick. Now, the weapons that you're using really don't matter. It's whatever you prefer to use, although obviously assault rifles are still by far the strongest guns in the game. But as you can see, I have a ton of toughness. My DPS is low, but not really low for only 3,850 firearms. Still not terrible. I had 5,400 firearms originally, and my DPS was up around, I think it was like 280 or 290. I'd have to check. But still not doing a boatload of damage, but not bad. But surprisingly, this way, with 560,000 toughness, 8,300 and change stamina, I'm still doing decent damage. The only talent I've lost is Brutal. All my other talents are still active. So my lightweight M4, 16.6 base damage with 23% enemy armor damage, again is low. My EAD would be a lot higher if I had Destructive, but I don't. So I have Vicious, Unforgiving, and Brutal. Brutal is active, obviously, on this one because it's in the third slot. Really quickly, even though these are the weapons I use for AlphaBridge, I just left them on just because. So crit damage on my Suppressor. Stability on my grip because the lightweight M4s and the LVOAs are hella hard to handle on console. I'm on PlayStation 4, by the way. Mag size, rate of fire, and crit chance. And this is a pretty much god rolled scope. Crit chance, crit damage, and headshot damage. My other weapon, MP5 ST, 38% crit damage, which is pretty good. The base damage isn't bad, really, if you think about it. 14.2 is not terrible considering how low my firearms are. Obviously, Brutal is locked because I don't have a high enough firearms. I did originally, but not now. Destructive on this one, and Vicious. Again, this gun is normally my Predator's Mark secondary because of the buffs to SMG and AR with Predator's Mark, but I just left it on for this build anyway. And go through the mods real quick. Crit chance is the main stat here. Crit damage is the main stat. Magazine size, rate of fire, crit chance. And crit chance, headshot damage, and crit damage. Again, very nearly god rolled. It could be 0.5% higher on headshot damage. But regardless, it's not about that. It's about being tanky, taking on a lot of damage while still dealing some damage. So I could use Barrett's chest, but I wanted to run a specialized backpack, so I had a little higher skill power. So my Nomad vest, pretty highly rolled armor, honestly. 3239 is very high. Protection from elites, doesn't really matter. It's kind of nice. Ammo capacity is pretty important. It's nice to have ammo. Now, one thing I really like about Nomad is the constant heal even while you're in combat. You know, AlphaBridge gives you a ton of healing, but doesn't proc when you're in combat, so you have to actually get out of combat to start healing for 20,000 or whatever it is. This way I'm healing all the time. The 15% health on kill is amazing. You can roll health on kill on a bunch of your gear and get it up to somewhere around 30%. I don't find it necessary. If you're running Nomad and purely for PvE, man, get a gun with predatory on the 3rd slot. You will be healing constantly. I mean constantly. Okay. Path of the Nomad. There is a glitch where it doesn't seem to show at the bottom of my stats unless I switch the chest piece or a piece of gear and then back to it, which I'll show you in a second. But every 4 minutes, this is basically recovery link. Brings you right back to full health right before you die. And I have stamina mods with armor on them. Again, this is 1.5, so obviously you need armor on everything. Okay, Nomad Mask. Again, decent armor. The cap's 1001. Pretty good stamina roll. Everything right now is rolled to stamina. I do have a little bit of health on kill. In damage dealing, I would rather have the major attribute being either crit chance or maybe even skill power, but I'll live with health on kill. Enemy armor damage is as low as it can be. It could be as high as 9, but again, I'll live with what I've got. It only took me 2 days to farm for this build, by the way, guys, so it really didn't take very long. And again, a stamina mod with armor. Knee pads, pretty decently rolled, could be higher. I've had knee pads well over 3,000 or 3,200, but these are what I've got for now. Decent enemy armor damage, good armor on them, rolled for stamina, and stamina mod with armor, and I'm running all 6% first aid self heals because again I want to be tanky. The holster is pretty good all around. I have a couple of them, I have them in my stash, but this is I think the best one for now. Decent armor, could be a little higher, could be like 1630 or so. And again I'm running a 6% self heal mod on there. My gloves, 1000 armor, it's pretty high, could be 1001, that's it. This is the only thing I've got firearms on. The firearms obviously could be higher, but you know, if I change my gloves to a stamina roll, for example, my toughness goes through the roof. I'm not doing that much less damage really. I only dropped 20,000 DPS, but I'm gaining, you know, 70,000 or more toughness. My backpack is a specialized backpack, again, rolled for stamina. Pretty good armor on there. I think 963 is the highest, or 973, I'd have to double check. But pretty high armor. And again, I've got a stamina mod with armor and 2 first aid self heals on there. Going to my character sheet. My AR is doing 16,500 damage. Again, not super high, but it's enough. It does enough. Honestly, it's not as bad as I would have thought it would be. Okay, crit chance, crit damage, headshot damage, all okay. Enemy armor damage again would be a lot higher if I had destructive, but for now this is fine. It's surprisingly doing well. Go down to my survivability. I have a ton of health, 250,000 health, 55.28% armor mitigation or weapon mitigation. It's amazing. Health regen is good at 12,500, but the key thing here is my health. 250,000 health is a ton. Really makes you survivable. When I proc critical save, my toughness, I'll show you, but well, I can't show you here, but my toughness goes up to, I think it was 1.2 million for a time. So really tanky if you time it right. If you hit your med kit while you're in your last bar of health, and then your booster shot, which I'll show you I'm running. I think it was 1.2 or 1.4 million toughness. Really amazing. So going to my skills right now, yeah, I'm using Seeker Mines, which I just happen to like. I like putting bleed on enemies, whether it be agents or NPCs. I find it very useful. And they're doing decent damage, actually. 30, almost 37,000 each times 5, so not terrible. The talents I'm running right now, critical save obviously, combat medic because I was playing a bit of a support role, and when I do use medkits, although I don't use them very often, at least my team will get healed. Steady hands to improve my handling of my lightweight M4, and on the move. On the move procs pretty often. I don't take cover, and if I am fighting agents, I really prefer to finish them off with the gun if possible rather than the elbow, so I can proc on the move. Very handy. Very handy indeed. Alright, so that's kind of the quick rundown of the build. Like I said, it's doing more damage than I expected. I apologize that the video lost the audio when I did the build. It's really unfortunate. But and I do have another mask here. So you see, if I change to a firearms mask, I'm still pretty tanky at 460,000. DPS goes up, you know, a bit, just under 30,000, and that would activate brutal on my other weapon as well. So I don't find a big difference between 290 and 266,000 DPS actually, and the trade-off for being less tanky. As you can see, I'm losing a little over 100,000 toughness. I don't find it beneficial. So thus far, I've found it really beneficial to have the layout this way. You'll see I'm still hitting pretty decently. If you can read the numbers, I don't know. But around 38, 40,000 crit hits. You'll see my on the move when I proc that, much more stable. Really easy to handle this gun. And just quickly, I'll show you my booster shot. Really bumps me up, right? 658,000 toughness. My DPS goes up quite a bit. And that lasts for a while. That really makes a difference. It really does. So anyway, guys, that's just a quick rundown of my Nomad build. This would be a great build to run solo in the DZ, or if you find you're really struggling in PvE, running around killing the open world bosses. This is going to make you really tanky. If you go down, you know, Nomad's going to proc, you're going to get full health again right before you die. If you use critical save and booster shot, as long as you're in the last segment of health and you proc critical save, your toughness is going to go up to a 1.2 or 1.4 million. At 1.2, 1.4 million, you're virtually unkillable. If you pop survival link on top of that, I believe it was almost 6 million toughness for a short time. At 6 million toughness, you're not going to die, period. You are super, super tanky. And if you really want to benefit your team, you could even throw on a loud vent break and draw aggro from all the NPCs. I don't like doing that because you will die. Every NPC will focus on you if your whole team's running suppressors. So I'm still running a suppressor right now. But this is a good support build. It's a lot of fun to play with. We wrecked the server last night. We had a really good team going. We did play a bit like assholes. We killed a lot of people, but we had a lot of fun doing it. I think we survived 4 or 5 manhunts. I really wish I had streamed it. I was just tired, and I just wanted to play. I just wanted to unwind and play, and we had a really great team. So agents, anyway, that's about it for the Nomad build. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, this is not a perfect build. I'm sure it could be better. People will disagree with how I've done it. Some people will agree. My recommendation to you is try it out. Try different things out. See what works for you. See how you enjoy it. At least until 1.6 comes out, where apparently everything is going to be completely screwed up unless they fix it. I really hope they do. But for now, in 1.5, if you want to be tough and you don't want to have to run a shield, this is a great build. So until later, agents, thanks for watching. I hope you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the Dark Zone.